What's happening, people? Back with another reaction, back with some more Peter Gabriel. And once again, big shout out to Phil for making the larger Peter Gabriel catalog available. And the next tune on Car or One, and we're skipping over Salisbury Hill, of course, since I did react to that when I briefly started going through the Shaking the Tree compilation. But it's Modern Love, which I've reacted to two tracks, I believe an Ultravox tune by the same name, and then was it Flock of Seagulls is another track I've reacted to with that phrase in it. But ultimately, it seems to make a distinction between more antiquated forms, or at least older forms, if not ancient forms of love. So modern love could take on characteristics that are perhaps based on new conditions, or at least new perceptions and new attitudes. I wonder in what capacity the phrase will be issued. Either way, let's see what I can catch on a first listen. This is Peter Gabriel. The track is Modern Love, and it's from his 1977 album, alternatively referred to as One or Car. Romance is out of fashion. I worship Diana by the light of the moon. That tune is insane. That was a sonic masterpiece, and his vocals are incredible. A lot of really interesting lines there. Yeah, I'm not quite sure how it all ties together, but I do think the passage that seemed most relevant to the title was the idea that, like, essentially he's an old romantic, but romance is now out of fashion. So, modern love is something else, and it sounds like a strain or it's driving him up the wall, I think one of the lines was. So, it sounds like someone who feels like out of sync with, like, more modern conventions or attitudes, and perhaps feeling like he's more justified in the way that, like, he feels, or the way he would be inclined to approach things. So an interesting tune, but again, like, was it I worship Diana by the light of the moon? Okay, I got that, like, classical mythological reference, but then it was like something about my bike, and like she screams, and then it's like, okay, so that could be the bike, but then is it Diana? Is it, I feel like there was some ambiguity to that part, at least as it related to what I was thinking was essentially the main theme of the song. But again, the soulful, passionate, and that was like one of the lines indeed was about like his level of passion. He had such passion, but the way that came across in the vocals just crazy, and ultimately the sonics were most notable to me for that organ. It just had this epic, like someone jamming, like you could picture them standing up from their little bench seat and like, really kind of playing it in a, I don't know, Ray Charles sort of way. Like it just felt like it had that, the soul to the delivery of that like particular melodic element. But ultimately cool drum rolls and fills, like it just had a lot going on sonically. And I have to point out the moribund the mayor, essentially, and again, I apologize going into that, I didn't quite know what to make of that. And obviously I skipped over Salisbury Hill because I listened to that for the beginning of the Shakin' the Tree compilation. But 3 tracks in, like, what a crazy debut album. Like, I mean, just the moribund track alone, like to start your solo career, in terms of like album tracks with that is just a remarkable statement. And then again, to follow it up with what I now know to be a pretty notable classic, Salisbury Hill, and then this tune with just again the soul, the intensity, the passion of delivery. It's crazy. So looking forward to the rest of the album. Once again, shout out to Phil as well as to all those who insisted. And I was happy to go through the Shakin' the Tree compilation, and perhaps anything that's on there that's not on the studio albums, I can go back to and check out eventually. But ultimately, I do appreciate that people were like, hey, the albums are really where you need to go. And then Phil stepped in, as always, to help out in that regard. So big shout out to everyone. Let me know what you think of this tune. I will see you next time. Peace.